Good Sunday, everybody, and welcome to the Breaking Chains Book Club. We are reading Hope, a Memoir of Survival in Cleveland by Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus. And here is my wonderful co-reader, Cinnamon Girl.
Hello, Lynn, and everyone. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you. We got past Christmas. How about you?
Yeah. Made it past Christmas, ate too
Good.
much, of course. Always eat too much
Oh
around.
my gosh, I know. Me too. I am suffering from, eating too much junk today.
Yeah.
So,
And
drinking my
it
vitamin drink here so I can try and clear some of that out.
Yeah, it's never honestly, it's never worth it. Like hey Solo's here. Woo. Um I I can never when I this is like TMI, not super personal information, but I really try not to eat sugar, you know, for most part of the year, and then I give myself permission certain times, right? And Christmas is one of those times, and then I eat some and then I'm like, yes, sugar, 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 pumpkin pie, apple pie, ice cream, all that
I
stuff.
know.
and
Same,
then
same for me. Yeah, exactly.
and then I can't sleep, and then I wake up
Right.
with I wake up with reflux, and I'm like, that was not worth it. That just
I
was
know.
not you know
Exactly the same for me. And, and then I just feel like sluggish. And I mean, it's great going down, I have to say. I cheesecake and pie and, whatever else there is. There's so much. It's great going down. But yeah, the aftermath is not so good. So,
Right.
yeah.
And Solo, I was asking Solo about Squid Game because I noticed that
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a.
I saw. Yeah.
Is that actually? I've honestly actively avoided it. I've been kind of actively avoiding like reality show type shows. But I know it gets a lot of buzz. So is it like worth checking into? Have you watched it at all?
I haven't. I watched the original. What was it? Was it a series or was it a movie? I forget when it first came out. And then I know that they produced like the series, but I didn't. I haven't watched the series, so I can't say. Maybe
Well,
Solo
Solo
can tell
said
us.
that season 2 is better than 1. She thinks it's the shiz, and but that it is in a different. It comes from a different. Where do they produce this thing in Norway or something, or Sweden? It's definitely not American, right? So it's in, or is it as I see how off. Okay, that's good, like really good. Okay, if I ever get bored with all my historical dramas, that's what I'm really into. I'm so into historical drama. Like I love history and historical drama lately. But if I get sick of that, I'll check out Squid Game. Oh,
What's your
yeah.
favorite what's your favorite series that you've been watching historical?
Oh my gosh. Well, have you watched The Empress? Did we already talk
I
about
just finished that. Oh my god, I was just going to say, have you watched that? I
Oh,
just finished that. So interesting.
yeah. I just feel like I felt such a connection to that woman, to that young lady. She reminds me so much of myself at her age.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we have completely different circumstances, but her personality, she was very rebellious and independent, and she definitely seemed like she fell in love with King Joseph,
Fra-
Emperor Francis
France,
Ferdinand.
right? Yeah, right.
Not Francis Joseph.
Right, right.
France Joseph. She seemed like initially she fell in love with him, but then she kind of like, she wasn't as into him anymore, and she needed so much time away from people and life, and just completely alone. She isolated herself a lot, and I don't know, I just felt like I kind of identified with her a lot,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
and I noticed that she always sort of gravitated toward the brother, and the brother was a little bit more like her, right? So I think he it felt like he understood her more, and she kind of knew that. And so they had sort of a different kind of, connection with each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was really interesting. I loved her. She was, rebellious, as you say, but also, she was just a woman, you know, uh, unto herself. And given the societal norms back then, that was just like unheard of.
Yeah, all of
And
what she did was unheard of. All of
yeah, her mother-in-law was just,
that
shocked, I
tyrant.
think.
She was a tyrant. That
Yes,
mother-in-law. Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah, but so, so interesting. I loved it.
But I also love Vikings. I mean, I like that the first Viking series. It had I don't know. I'm way into it. Like I've watched it like 2 or 3 times now. I
Really? I
just
haven't watched that. I have to go check that
oh,
out.
it's a journey. It's a huge journey because you watch um the coming to power of of the king of Norway, but then you watch his children come to power too,
Oh, interesting.
and their story and their upbringing and their crazy. Now it's somewhat fictionalized, of course, like all of these historical dramas are. Like they melded together timelines and they melded together um like they put people together that weren't necessarily at the same time in history, but it's still, oh, it's a fictional reality show. It's a fictional reality show.
Oh, is it? Oh, Squid Games. Oh, interesting.
Okay, that actually has me intrigued, Solo. That actually has me intrigued because at least for sure that these people aren't oh, wow, that's good, Solo. I'm glad that you found such interest in that, and now you're sort of selling me on it because I thought it was reality show just for reality show sake, and I'm really sick of those. I am. I'm just because they're not. They're they say that they're reality shows, but they're scripted, and so you might as well know that this is a scripted reality. This is a fictional reality show. I like that. I like that idea. So we are still reading this book, and we're about 72 pages in. And last week we finished up with the abduction of Gina DeJesus. Before that, we had um, read up with we had pretty much completed the abduction and the first few months of Amanda Berry's disappearance and what she went through, like watching her family being on the news while she's locked up in a basement or chained up in a room sitting next to her captor while he's taunting her. And it really sounds like what we observed from our reading is that the abduction scenarios were very, very similar, to each other. Like he used the same ploys. And what I'm interested in also is that he had a slight personal association with these girls too. Each of these girls knew his family from the neighborhood because they um you know what? I think you know what I was gonna do. Solo's asking about pictures.
Oh,
Let me put a bookmark where we are, and then let me go to the back and see if the pictures are there. Yes, I have them.
oh, great.
So let's look at their photos right now before we start reading. And here we are. Hold on one moment. Oh, did you hear that? My dog just snore. Okay.
So cute.
Okay, so here is Amanda Berry before her 17th birthday. So this was around just 16 going on 17, and she was kidnapped on April 21st, 2023. So that's Amanda Berry. Look, I mean, look how young she was.
Mm, yeah.
Here's Gina DeJesus, and that's whose experience we're reading about right now. She was only 14 when she disappeared nearly a year later on April 2nd, 2004. So Amanda Berry had been held almost a full year by the time Gina came in. Wow. 2207 Seymour Avenue. So this is the house. in Cleveland where Ariel Castro kept the free women. And I mean, when you think about it, that oops, I hate when it does that. That's also, we've seen lots of news reports, or we've seen the news report where the neighbor calls 911, and it's basically because he's passing by that house and he hears, I think it's Amanda screaming through the screen door, trying to get, she's trying to break through the screen door, or she's screaming from somewhere inside the house. After their abductions, Amanda and Gina were each initially held in the cluttered Seymour house basement where they were chained to a post. Why do you do that? Gosh, it doesn't let me.
Yeah.
Doesn't let me expand it without getting wonky. But chained to a post. Do you see where the post would be? Cluttered Seymour, where they were. Maybe they'll show it in the next picture. A few weeks after she was taken, Gina wrote a letter to her parents to reassure them that she was alive, but Castro never allowed her to send it. Jesus. How horrible. Here's the letter. Dear everybody, how are you? I am okay. Myra, Tati, Mom, Dad, Rick, and Nana, are they okay? How is Chrissy? Is she okay too? People at my school, I seen you on TV, and I will become home soon. Myra, I love you a lot, and I know you miss me, and I miss all over you. Mom, Dad, I love you. Don't give up hope, and I am not dead yet, or something like that. I'm not dead and not hurt. I am okay. I love you. Dot, and you girl, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading some of the writing. And you girl mean everything to me. Rick, you are my big brother and I love you, and you funny sometimes and mad, but that is a big brother that is supposed to do. Tell Chrissy not to go skating without me. Tati, Nana, you guys be good, and you know that I love you very much. Wow. Luana Miller appeared often in the media pleading for the return of her daughter. She died in 2006 without ever learning what happened to Amanda. That is so freaking sad.
Heartbreaking.
Gina's parents, Felix DeJesus and Nancy Ruiz, became impassioned advocates on behalf of missing children during the search for their daughter. Here, Felix looks at photos of the missing. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released the missing poster of Amanda and Gina that was widely distributed by the U.S. Postal Service. Just like so many of the other ones we see, the FBI later created a scale model of the Seymour house. Oh, wow. It looks a lot nicer there.
Right. I know, right?
That would be a much nicer house to live in. An overhead shot shows the second floor rooms where the girls were held for most of their captivity. Amanda lived in bedroom 1, which is right here, while Gina and Michelle Knight lived in the adjacent room. I guess this would be the adjacent room.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Chained in their rooms each day when Castro left for his job, the young women attempted to make their captivity as comfortable as possible by adding personal touches. Gina and Michelle, who were forced to share a bed, decorated a small refrigerator in their bedroom. I mean, I think there's so many missing children right now, and some of them are living like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In her bedroom, Amanda put a colorful cloth over the top doors that over the 2 doors that Castro nailed up to cover the windows behind the bed. Castro often slept in the first floor dining room, which he turned into a bedroom filled with his clothes and the junk he collected.
Ugh, disgusting.
What a fucking weirdo, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
More than a weirdo. I mean, that's light. Castro used heavy chains to restrain the girls, first around their waists and then their ankles. The kitchen of 2207's Seymour, where Castro enforced strict housekeeping rules for each of his captives.
This must be afterwards, because remember Gina said that the kitchen was covered with cobwebs and there was, it was really dirty. And so maybe this was after he enforced the housekeeping rules. I mean, it still looks pretty bad, but it doesn't look like there's cobwebs.
I would imagine they went in and got all these shots after Castro was arrested, and they were
right.
The crime scene photos kind of.
Right.
Yeah. One day in May 2012, when Nancy Ruiz was handing out missing flyers of Gina, Castro asked for one. An hour later, he gave it to Gina, who decorated with hearts and glitter and the foods that she craved. Oh, look at the food. That's so fucking sad, man. But it's also, whenever I hear about what the girls did with their rooms and what they did to pass the time, you see this kind of young hope. You know what I mean? Like, they're decorating things. They're trying to make that instinct for survival and that resilience is incredible. It's just incredible to me.
Right. And I guess, Gina and Michelle shared a bedroom, so at least they had each other, I guess. I don't know if that's right. I mean, I would think that would be a better thing than being isolated. But Amanda was on her own, it looks like. And who knows, if there was ever any interaction between the three of them, or very much of it.
Yeah.
But, the windows were covered, so there's no sunlight. There's no horrible.
Yeah, just absolutely depressing conditions. Hey, YouTube bad actors, good to see you. I don't have memberships on this channel yet, because I just don't go live enough here to honestly, I feel warrant channel memberships. I'm a weird creator. I'm not always constantly looking for people to give me more money. I'm just not that way. You know what I mean? So, but I do want to create memberships when I'm going live more, and I'll probably go live more when there's more court cases to stream, because that's really what I go live about. Otherwise, I would just be going live about drama, and I don't want to go live about drama. I just don't. I don't want to be a live drama channel. So that's all. Just thank you for asking. And I didn't know Jimmy Carter died. I guess that must have just
happened. They just announced it. Yeah, he was 100. He was 100.
I'm a me beer on you. I think you might have with my regular name. I don't know if I'm reading that. Can you rewrite that? Because I'm not understanding that. I'm a me beer.
Oh, maybe that's YouTube bad actors. Member. Oh, member.
Do you want to tell me what your regular name is, YouTube actors? You don't have to if you don't want to, because I'm totally fine with keeping people's names separate. YouTube is so fucking weird. I don't want you to dox your other name on my other channels if you don't want to, but feel free to let me know so I have a better idea of who you are. But anyway, so incognito. Oh, okay. There you go. Oh, you mean your name is on incognito, right?
Or are you incognito?
Or are you being incognito?
No, yes. What does that mean? All the options are there.
It really does. It's okay. Everyone's welcome as long as they're respectful. And I love connecting with the community. I really do. I don't love getting into like real-time drama. I'll commentate on drama every once in a while. I'm just not. Okay, it's not. Okay. Okay. You want to be incognito. That is totally, totally fine. Anyway, Jimmy Carter, I met him. I met
Did
him.
you?
I did at Google.
Oh my gosh.
He came he came to visit Google. He spoke there. This was in 2005. And
Wow.
it was I was one of like, okay, no problem, YouTube, bad actors. I whatchamacallit, I was one of the entourage that greeted him when he got there.
Amazing.
Yeah, and he was, it was like one of those very brief, please here, right this way, pleased to meet you, and then I introduced him to other people, and I have to tell you, I don't think I've ever seen a clearer set of blue eyes that were more sparkly and more open.
Really?
I swear
Wow.
to God, I looked into that man's eyes and I was like, this man, you know, a lot of people talk about, religion and Jesus and all that stuff. I really felt that he had that in his soul. I
Mm.
really do. Whether you liked his politics or not, he was, he seemed, I mean, he seemed like a very, very genuine person. And he came just to meet with Google on some, it wasn't like any official state visit or anything like that. It was just, I think he might have been actually promoting a book maybe about
Oh,
foreign policy. But anyway, so rest in peace,
how
Mr.
interesting.
Carter.
Yeah. Wow. Hard to believe it was almost 20 years ago, huh?
Yes, and I think actually, yeah, absolutely, and I think you're actually right, you two bad actors, that he may have been coming to advise about China, because that was right around the time when Google was thinking about whether they should combat China on all the businesses they wanted to get into. So it was a very heavy topic at that time.
Mm,
Okay, so well, rest in peace, Mr. Carter, Mr. President.
indeed. Mr. President. Yes, indeed.
So back to the pictures here. Let's see. Amanda gave, oh God, this just breaks my heart, this part. Amanda gave birth to a daughter, Jocelyn, on Christmas Day, and took extraordinary steps to give her child as normal a life as possible. The human spirit, man.
Mm,
Including turning her bedroom into a classroom and creating a play area in an empty upstairs bedroom. The human resilience, the human spirit, the strength of this girl. She had to give birth to a child from her artist. I just don't know if I could have been that. I don't know. Maybe I could have, but oh, and look at that.
I have to, well, it'll be interesting when we get to that part, but I have to think that the child, as crazy, difficult, and unthinkable as it is, at least maybe brought some joy, right, into her life. You can see it in how she's decorated the room and she's got all the little toys, and it gave her a new purpose
Yeah,
and a reason to keep going.
absolutely. I think she even said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. It's
And
certainly something different to focus on than, the that and the girl didn't know any different, right?
right.
She didn't know she was being raised in any different. I remember watching, I think we may have watched the interview here together where Amanda says that her dad, the little girl loved her dad, really loved
Right.
her dad, and she didn't want her to feel anything different. It's such a complicated,
Ugh,
horrifying situation,
yeah.
But look
Yeah.
what, it's just, I'm just impressed by the strength,
Yes. Oh,
Amanda
look.
decorated walls with her
Pocahontas. Oh
with
my gosh.
Jocelyn's artwork and worksheets from their homeschooling classes. So she homeschooled her. Amanda and Jocelyn had a dresser, closet, a clothesline to hang laundry, and a small refrigerator with a picture of Amanda's late mother.
Mm.
For years, Amanda kept a diary charting Castro's abuse of her and vowing to be strong enough to survive the experience. Her diary was written in small notebooks that Castro gave her, but she also wrote hundreds of entries on any scrap of paper she could find. In this entry from January 2009, she reads Castro's telling her that he had just seen her sister best around at a local store. Oh my God. He had just seen her sister
Mm.
and she couldn't. On May 6, 2013, after realizing that Castro had left the house and forgotten to lock her bedroom door. Oh, that's what happened. For this first time in 10 years, Amanda kicked her way through the front storm door of the Seymour house and used the neighbor's phone to call 911. Incredible. Just absolutely incredible. So I'm going to go back to our page. We're on page 71. Or 72. Okay. So how about if you go ahead and start reading, because I've just had to hear me read all those captions.
Okay. All right. All right. April 2004, searching for Gina. Nancy Ruiz was expecting Gina home by about 3:30 at the latest. She would have been home sooner if she had taken the RTA bus, but knowing Gina, Nancy figured that she had probably walked. Factoring in time to chat with friends and a stop at the corner store for Funyuns and a Pepsi, she usually walked in the door between 3 and 3:30. Nancy was planning to take Gina to the Parma Town Mall for their monthly mother-daughter shopping trip. Because Nancy didn't drive, they usually caught the bus near their house and made an evening of it. When Gina didn't show up by 4, Nancy walked to the corner store on Clark Avenue and asked if anybody had seen her. She returned home and started calling her daughter's friends. Nobody knew anything. Now Nancy was scared. She raced down to the corner again, when there was still no sign of Gina at 5:30, she called 911. A police car came immediately, and Nancy gave the police officer a photo of Gina. "Oh, your daughter is at that age," the officer said. "She's probably with her boyfriend." "She doesn't have a boyfriend," Nancy told him. "She's 14. I'm telling you, she would call me. Something happened to her." Nancy asked the police to issue an Amber Alert, but the officer explained that they couldn't do that unless they were certain there had been an abduction and they had at least some description of an abductor or vehicle. "Don't worry, she'll show up," the officer assured her before leaving. Nancy did not feel reassured and ran outside to meet Felix when he returned home a few minutes later.
"Gina is missing," she shouted. "She never made it home from school." Felix immediately drove off to check around the school and drove the route she would have taken home. Nancy continued to call Gina's friends while Gina's older brother, Ricky, went looking for her in his own car. By 7:30, Gina's family was in a full-blown panic. They began searching the neighborhood on foot, walking along the railroad tracks, through vacant lots, and around the area's factories. Nancy stayed by the phone in case Gina called. Nobody slept. Oh man, there were no mobile phones, or at least they didn't have them. Nobody slept that night as the search continued. In alleys behind bars, several people, clearly drunk, came out at closing time and asked what they were doing. When they heard a young girl was missing, they pitched in and started picking through dumpsters. On Saturday afternoon, Cleveland Police Lieutenant Marge Laskowski arrived at 2:30 for her shift. She was the shift supervisor that day. So the missing persons report on Gina was referred to her for follow-up, and she drove to Gina's house. Laskowski, an 18-year veteran police officer, spent an hour with Nancy, sitting on Gina's bed, listening to the tearful, distraught mother describe their tight-knit family. Laskowski had responded to scores of missing children reports, and most of them turned out to be nothing, but something about this one felt different. And she believed Nancy when she said that Gina would never run away. Back at the station, she told a detective, "This is bad. I think this one is real." "Don't worry, Lieutenant," he replied. "I guarantee you she will be home before midnight."
Laskowski was annoyed. She suspected that the detective's response would have been different had Gina lived in a wealthy suburb, but because she came from a poor urban neighborhood, he assumed she was just another runaway shacked up with her boyfriend. She passed her concerns directly to District Commander Gary Gingle, Gingle, who immediately assigned detectives to work the case. When news of Gina's abduction reached Brian Heffernan late Saturday night, it hit him like a punch in the gut. Oh my God, it happened again. He immediately called Tim Kalanick at the FBI, with whom he had been investigating Amanda Berry's disappearance for the past year, beginning and ending every workday by going over the case. Heffernan wanted all the manpower he could muster on this new one, and on Sunday morning, he and Kalanick went to interview Nancy and Felix. On the way there, Kalanick called FBI agent Phil Torsney, who was at home packing his car for the long drive to Quantico, Virginia, for firearms training. Torsney drove over to join them, his car fully loaded for the trip, thinking the case would be resolved quickly and he would be on his way. Torsney, who had been an FBI agent for more than 20 years, specialized in finding people. In 2011, he would make news around the world for his pivotal role in locating and arresting James Whitey Bulger. Is it Bulger?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the infamous Boston mobster who had been a fugitive for 16 years. Torsney was a wiry, old-school agent who enjoyed strapping on his body armor and kicking in bad guys' doors. Patient and methodical, he made 10 peanut butter sandwiches every Sunday, putting 2 in his car.
On Monday and freezing the rest.
Oh my gosh.
Removing 2 each morning the rest of the week so he didn't have to leave a steak out to eat. Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Oh, of course.
That reminds me of the pimento sandwiches. The pimento.
Yeah.
Mike's pimento sandwiches. Okay, anyway. He too had been working the Amanda Berry case and had spent hours sitting in his car at West Town Square, watching, hoping that someone would catch his eye, someone out of place, someone stalking young girls, anything unusual. Torsney got a bad feeling when he heard the details of Gina's case. It was too soon to conclude that Amanda and Gina had been abducted by the same man, but there were too many similarities to ignore, and something dangerous was clearly happening in this part of Cleveland. By noon, Gina's house was swarming with media interviewing Nancy, Felix, and the police. Gina's vanishing made the news within 48 hours, and reporters were raising the possibility that the 2 cases were related. Using dogs and flashlights, police officers and FBI agents combed through the neighborhood, tracing Gina's 2-mile walk home, picking their way through abandoned houses and empty factories. They interviewed Arlene Castro, the last person to see Gina, and her mother, Grimelda Figueroa, Ariel Castro's ex. Wow. So they interviewed them. Wow. On Monday morning, several students at Wilbur Wright Middle School told police they had seen a suspicious white 2-door car driven by a Hispanic male with a distinctive sticker on its back window, an image of a rainbow and a wolf. Police put out an alert for a vehicle of that description and began searching the internet to try to identify the sticker, but could find nothing. They questioned every person who appeared on tapes recovered from a surveillance camera in the
school's office, but a camera at the school's main door had been out of order that day. Had the camera been working, it would have recorded Ariel Castro entering the building. As school was letting out, Castro had walked in the school's front door looking for Arlene and asked a security guard, a man he had grown up with, if he had seen his daughter. Nothing about the exchange had seemed unusual to the security guard, and because Castro worked for the school system, he didn't think to mention the incident to the police. Police also photographed a blue jacket, black pants, white hoodie, and blue and white sneakers that matched the outfit Gina had been wearing and put them on a missing flyer that they had posted around the neighborhood. On Monday evening, as Felix was helping post flyers along Lorraine Avenue, a man walked out of an apartment near where Gina had disappeared and asked what he was doing. When Felix explained, the man said, "I'll be looking out for your daughter." Felix thought there was something a little odd about him. On Tuesday, police officers with a bloodhound searched the area around the payphone on Lorraine Avenue where Gina had last been seen. The dog picked up Gina's scent and followed it, but the trail went cold around the corner of 104th Street near McKenna's Irish Pub, almost the exact spot where the man had asked Felix about Gina the night before. That didn't seem like a coincidence to Felix and his brother Fernando. Without informing the police, they and some friends forced their way into the man's apartment, roughing him up and demanding to know if he had anything to do with Gina's disappearance. He hadn't, and Brian Heffernan soon got an angry call from the building's owner complaining that a door had.
I'm here. Sorry. I had to get to the unmute. The door had been broken down. Heffernan explained that Felix was a distraught father looking for his missing daughter, and the man eventually calmed down and did not press charges, but Felix did have to pay him $900 in restitution, a huge sum for the family. I'm okay with continuing reading. Are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, go ahead. Next page.
Okay, April 2004, early days, Gina. After I spent a few freezing days on the concrete in the basement, he finally gave me an old twin mattress to sit on and a thin pink blanket to pull around me, but I'm still cold. Days and days are passing all the same. He leaves me alone in the basement until he comes to take me to sleep with him in the strange covered bed upstairs. He gropes me, then falls asleep for the entire night. The chains are digging into me, my whole body aches, and I'm always hungry. I used to think time moves slowly in social studies class, but it's nothing like how it drags by now. I sit and wait, jittery, for the next horrible thing to happen. I hate how he strokes my hair, how he wants me to sit on the couch with him and watch TV. It's like he thinks we are friends. I'm terrified of him. I see myself on the news. There's a story about how the police are looking for me and another girl, Amanda Berry, who disappeared a year before me, near where I did. I've never heard of her, but I have never watched the news before now. I see my mom and dad on TV, and all I can think of is them. I imagine my dad running down the stairs, ripping open these chains, picking me up and carrying me home. I picture myself hugging my mom and never letting her go. It makes me feel better to see that so many people are trying to find me, but I bet they have no idea where I am. Lots of people know him, but no one gets how messed up he is. He goes to work every day, talks to his kids, acts normal. He even played in the high school band with my
mom. Will anyone ever figure out that he is the perv who took me? I start thinking about when he used to wave to me from the bus. Were you following me all those times? I ask him. Yeah, I was, he says. You turned me on. Ew. I liked your cleavage. I liked it when you wore black V-neck shirt and a jean skirt. That was my favorite. I wonder if at the Christmas concert, when he was talking to my parents, he was already planning to kidnap me. He takes me upstairs for dinner. Tonight, it's donuts, the grocery store kind in a white box with a mix of powdered sugar, cinnamon, and chocolate. He gives me so little food that when he does, I'll eat anything. I've been asking him to write me a letter to my family so I can tell them I'm alive. And one night in the kitchen, he hands me a pen and a piece of notebook paper. Don't say where you are or who you're with, he warns, but you can say you're okay and you'll be home soon. I don't really think he will give my letter to them, but I want to believe he will, so I start writing. Dear everybody, how are you? I'm okay. I love you. Mom and Dad, I love you. Don't give up hope. I am not dead. I want to come home now. People from my school who like me and people who don't like me were on TV participating in my vigil. I want to say thank you to them. Tell Chrissy not to go skating without me. When I go home, I want my family and friends over and we can cry together and have fun. Oh my gosh.
I tell my brother Ricky that he is funny sometimes and that I miss him. And I tell my sister Myra that I love her. And then I write, P.S. I want mom to know I cut my hair. My hair had grown all the way down my back, and I used to like it that way. But I just chopped it off with the little kitty scissors I used to cut pictures out of newspapers because it makes me crazy how he keeps touching it. I hope he hates it short and that he'll now leave me alone. I put my ponytail in a plastic bag and I'm going to give it to my mom when I get out. Before I give the letter to him, I draw hearts at the top of the page and write in the margins, miss you a lot, and on the envelope, I love you 5 times. I imagine them getting the letter and realizing I'm alive. He takes me into the dining room and chains me up to the weird bed. When he leaves, I try for the millionth time to break free. I keep staring at the padlock, and then I have an idea. I grab a pencil near the bed and push the tip of it into the lock. Maybe I can pick it. I fiddle with it like they do on TV, but the pencil snaps and the tip gets stuck in the keyhole. I lean back and start crying. He laughs at me when he comes back into the room and points at the lock. He must have been watching me. I told you not to try anything. If I can't trust you, I'm not sending your letter. He hands it back to me, and I hold it close to me and cry. Every morning when he goes to work, I have to go back to the basement where I feel like I'm in a dark hole. I can't stand being with him upstairs, but I also hate being below ground with no light. So I wait until he seems to be in a
good mood, and I work up my courage to ask him to move me. Do you have other rooms? Somewhere else I can stay in the day? Yeah, he replies. I got rooms upstairs. Well, can you put me up there? I can't stand the basement anymore. The other rooms are not fixed up. I'll have to clean them. He actually seems to be considering the idea. I pray that he does. 2 days later, he announces cheerily, okay, your room is ready. He takes me to the second floor where I have never been and pushes open one of the closed doors. The room looks like a prison cell with dirty yellow walls, a big bed with no sheets, and an old dresser and TV. There is a thick chain with one end tied to a big steam radiator. He picks it up and says, the other end is for me, and wraps it around my ankle. At least I'm not underground anymore. They keep showing Amanda Berry's picture on the news, and there is something familiar about her. Then I realize she looks just like the picture of a blonde girl taped to the mirror in my new room. I point to the photo and ask him who she is. Oh, that's my ex-girlfriend. But I get a sick feeling. I'm sure it's Amanda Berry. Why would her photo be in his house? What if he kidnapped her too? Oh my God, I bet he killed her. Did you take her? I ask him. No, I don't believe him.
We sit there for a long time watching TV. Then I ask him a few more questions about Amanda Berry. The more I think about it, the more scared I am. She's been missing for a year. If he did kill her, he's probably going to kill me. He can see how terrified I am and finally admits that he has her. Come on, I'll show you. He unlocks me and takes me into the hallway outside my bedroom. You can look in, but pull your head back fast so she doesn't see you, he says. He opens the door to the room right across the hall from mine, and I see a girl with blonde hair sitting on the bed with her back to the door watching TV. He closes the door quickly and then, almost bragging, says, I have another one too. Oh my God, there are 2 other girls in here. I'm too shocked to respond, but I finally ask, what's her name? Michelle. He leads me to another door in the hallway, opens it, and I look quickly and see a girl with dark hair lying on a bed, also watching TV. She doesn't see me. Who is this Michelle? April 2004, hiding something. April 4, Amanda. I'm watching the news, and there's another girl missing. Gina DeJesus, a 7th grader at Wilbur Wright, who disappeared at Lorraine and West 105th. That's so close to
Where I got taken. So you can see the Burger King where I worked from there. It sounds just like what happened to me. So I wonder if he had anything to do with it, but I haven't heard anyone else in the house. I do know that the other girl is still here. He told me her name is Michelle. In the she's in the room right next to me, and she's aggravating. I hate the headbanger music that she plays and sings along with. You should be more like her. She doesn't cry at all, he says. He keeps telling me that she's happy. He says her family is screwed up and they're paying him to give her a place to live. He says he's doing them a favor and that her life is better than the one she had before. I've never talked to her, but find out what is really going on because he keeps us apart. Or no, I have never talked to her to find out what is really going on because he keeps us apart. Every once in a while, we're both downstairs at the same time and we say hello, but I've seen her only briefly and maybe 10 times this whole year. Once, when we were in the kitchen together and he went into the other room for a minute, I whispered to her, "My name is Amanda Berry." "I know who you are," she said. "I've seen you on the news." But then he came back up and we couldn't talk anymore. Now he's in my room yelling at me again. "Stop it. Stop it now." She says, "You're making noise," he says. "What are you doing?" One of his big rules is that we have to be quiet. The only noise allowed is from the TV and radio. "I'm sitting here watching TV," I say. "What noise could I be making?" When I stand up to pee, maybe she hears my chain. Does she have her ear to my wall?
I'm not making noise. Why is she telling him lies about me? April 7th. I only took your freedom, he tells me. He's actually suggesting I should be grateful to him because he didn't kill me. I want to kill him. His 6 strategies to take everything from me, then make me feel lucky and appreciative when he gives me a sandwich or lets me take a shower. It's really hard to lose everything, I tell him. It's so hard to sit here, stuck in this house. Everybody else is going on with their life outside, and you have me chained to a wall. Don't think like that, he says. He talks as if I have no right to be upset, as if all he has done is inconvenience me. Oops, I didn't mean to burn your toast. Sorry. That's his tone. He acts as if it's his right to do whatever he wants to me. He's not God. He can't decide my life for me. It would be so much easier if I just died, but I can't think like that. I can't let him win. April 10th. I'm on America's Most Wanted. They are showing pictures of me and Gina DeJesus together because we both disappeared in the same neighborhood. I've watched that show so many times, never once imagining I would be on it. They said Gina and I would be on next Saturday, too. Maybe somebody saw him with me, and this TV show will jog their memory.
April 10th. I feel like she's close. Luana had lost about 30 pounds in the year since Amanda had disappeared, and Beth could feel her mother was breaking. All the rage, sadness, and drinking were taking their toll. Luana had not been able to go back to work and was now surviving on welfare checks. She often felt guilty about the little arguments she'd had with Amanda before she disappeared. She knew Amanda was thinking of skipping work on the day she went missing, and she wished she let her. Regret ate at her. Beth decided that she needed to be a positive force because that was the most important thing she could do for her mother and her sister. "I'm not going to eat today," Luana would say. "What if Mandy didn't get to eat today?" "It won't do Mandy any good if you're sick," Beth would reply. She kept her mother busy putting up missing flyers and yellow ribbons around town, and she made sure her daughters kept their granddaughter company. The kids sat and watched movies with her and often spent the night. Luana and Beth were constantly calling reporters and asking for coverage of Amanda, appealing to them on holidays like Mother's Day or Christmas or with any other hook they could think of. Sometimes a reporter would come to interview them, but mostly not. Luana yelled at them when they ignored her, but Beth reminded her that some coverage was better than none. Beth hated public speaking, so to get over her fright, she imagined that when she was looking into the lens of the TV camera, she was talking directly to Amanda and telling her everything would be okay. One day, a producer from America's Most Wanted called and said that John Walsh, the show's host, wanted to give
Amanda's case national exposure. A crew came to film in Cleveland, and Beth took the lead in the interviews. We love you, Mandy. We want you home. We're always going to be looking for you. We'll never give up. Beth knew the odds were not good that Amanda would be found alive, but her instincts were telling her something different. My heart doesn't feel empty like it would if she was gone. She told her mother after the camera crew left. I feel like she's close. April 16th, Amanda. He takes me downstairs to have a shower, the first one in days. As we're walking through the dining room, I see something strange. He sleeps down here a lot on a bed, pushed over by the wall, but now he has a strange, boxy contraption on top of it, like something kids would build. He pretends to not even notice it as we walk by. He seems like he's hiding something. Oh my God, I bet Gina DeJesus is in there. He must have taken her too. April 20th. I'm in a new room now. He just moved me across the hallway into a smaller bedroom that's painted blue. He didn't say why, but I wonder if it's because he put Gina in my old room. I still haven't seen or heard her, but I sense something different in the house. I think she's here. I hate this room. It's not like I love the other one, but I had gotten used to it after almost a year. Change here usually means trouble. He has a mirror set up on one wall of my room so he can stand in the hallway and see what I'm watching on TV. He put another mirror downstairs over the sink in the
kitchen, so when he's standing there, he can keep an eye on what's happening behind him. It's awful to be watched every second. I've been crying all the time since he moved me. A baby doesn't even cry that much, he tells me. I hate him. Did you take that girl, Gina? I ask. No, of course not, he says. Oh my God. I don't believe you. I think she's here. Stay out of my business, he snaps. I smile to myself because I hit a nerve. So she is in this house. Man, those girls are smart. You told me if you ever got another girl, I could go home. So now that Gina is here, I should be home, unless that was just another lie. That makes him really mad, and his voice gets deeper and meaner. You better shut up, he says. I've gone this far. I don't know what I'm capable of now. He claims he moved me so he could sleep in my own room, my old room. Why does he lie? Does he think he can hide another girl in this little house and I won't find out? He keeps the door to my old room shut and locked. Why lock it if nobody's in there? The radio is blasting in the hallway, so I can't hear if anybody's moving around in there. Maybe the police looking for Gina will find this house and rescue me and Michelle too. I have to believe that every time he kidnaps another girl, he is more likely to get caught. April 21. You think you're a victim, but I'm a victim too, he says. What are you talking about?
He tells me that when he was a boy in Puerto Rico, he was sexually abused by a boy who was a few years older. God doesn't give you the right to do this to me. Shut up, he says, looking furious. Does he really want me to feel sorry for him? Because someone hurt him, he thinks he can hurt other people? I don't even know whether to believe him. It's been exactly a year since he took me, and there's been a lot about my case on TV today. I guess he's decided to tell me now about his childhood because the news reports are talking about how sad my story is, and he's so selfish that he doesn't like me getting all the sympathy. On the 11 o'clock news, I see my mom and Beth crying, and they're showing Gina's sister bringing flowers to my house. If Gina really is here, it's great that our two families are together. Maybe someday when this is over, we can all be friends. A few weeks ago, I saw my mom on the news, and she was burning a candle for me. I asked him to get me one just like it, and he did. It's in a tall red glass container with a picture of Jesus that he got at Mark's discount store. I lit it today, and I'm going to light it on all my important anniversaries and family birthdays. It makes my room feel a little warmer. I think for a second about setting the room on fire. I have the candle and a cigarette lighter he gave me. Somebody might see the smoke and call the fire department, and they'd find us here. But the neighbors seem so clueless, and they might not even call, and I could be dead by the time the firefighters got here. I guess he knows I would never risk it. It makes me lonelier to see my family on TV, but it's also a gift. At least one day a year, on the anniversary of my kidnapping, I know they will appear on the news, and I'll be able to see if they look healthy, what they are
Wearing, if they've changed their hair, how my nieces are growing up. April 21 is my day. April 22, it's my 18th birthday, and he comes into my room like he's Santa Claus or something. Happy birthday. Can I get you a cake? He doesn't seem to understand how much I hate him. Who chains someone up and then offers to get them a birthday cake? No, I tell him in a dead, cold voice. I don't want anything. But really, there's a lot I do want for my birthday. I want to be able to take back my stupid mistake of getting into his van. I want to take back every mean thing I ever said to my mom. I want to be a normal 18-year-old having fun and saving up to go to college. I want to go to my own room and back. Uh, uh, I want my own room back and my clean pressed clothes. I want to wash and cut my hair. I want to take a shower twice a day like I used to. I want to talk on the phone, walk outside, go shopping. I so want a Dr. Pepper. I don't need I don't want to need counseling for the rest of my life. I don't want to always be scared of everyone I ever meet. I want this to be over. Jeez. How about one more chapter? You good with that? You there, Cinnamon?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
It's okay.
on mute. April 2004. Get away from me. On the afternoon of Friday, April 16th, Ariel Castro's daughter Angie and her husband Sam Gregg came home to find the message light blinking on their answering machine. They had just moved and had a new landline number. They assumed the message was from either Angie's mother or her father, as they were the only two people who knew the new number. When they listened to the message, at first they heard only muffled sounds like the caller's phone was in a purse or a pocket, as if someone had inadvertently pocket dialed them. Then they heard the voice of a young woman sounding terrified, screaming, "Get away from me." Angie and Sam were so shaken that they called the police. When officers came to their house and listened to the message, they said it was probably a prank call. "Didn't a girl come up missing around here?" Angie asked them. Gina DeJesus' disappearance 2 weeks earlier had been covered extensively by the local news, and Angie's sister Arlene had been the last person to see Gina. Angie wondered if Gina or someone holding her had called her. "Does Gina DeJesus know your phone number?" the officer asked. "No," she said. "Why would she be calling you?" the officer asked. "I don't know," Angie said. The officers called a detective to come out and listen to the tape. After making a recording of it, he asked Angie if Gina had ever been to her house. Angie said she didn't know Gina and that Gina would have had no way of knowing her phone number. Brian Heffernan passed the 1-minute, 49-second tape on to the FBI, and Tim Kalanick brought it to
Nancy's house and played it for her. Nancy thought it was Gina's voice. The FBI checked Angie's phone records and traced the call to a cell phone belonging to a woman who had lent it to her boyfriend, Richard Rogers. They interviewed Rogers, a local roofer, and he said that he had been at a family party at the time with many young teens, including his 2 kids, who had been fooling around dialing random numbers. They didn't remember who they called or what they said. April 2004, suspects and leads. Early in their investigation of Gina's case, the FBI focused on Fernando Colon, Arlene Castro's stepfather, as a suspect. Her stepfather, okay. When the 2 girls said their goodbyes at the phone booth on the day Gina disappeared, Arlene crossed the street and walked directly to Westtown Square, where Colon worked as a security guard, and he gave her a ride to their house on West 106th Street, only a few blocks away. The FBI figured that Colon would have needed no more than 5 minutes to drop Arlene off and then go back for Gina. Colon raised red flags for the FBI because he knew Gina, he carried a gun, and he had opportunity. 5 days after Gina had gone missing, the FBI picked up Colon for questioning. The FBI was familiar with Colon. They had recently given him an award for helping them solve a bank robbery at Westtown Square. While he was being questioned downtown, agents searched his car in his office using luminol to look for traces of blood, but they found nothing. Colon agreed to a lie detector test, which he passed.
Colon and the FBI have starkly different memories of one aspect of his interrogation that day. Colon insists he told the agents that they were talking to the wrong man and that they should turn their attention instead to Arlene's biological father, Ariel Castro. He claims he informed them that Castro not only knew Gina, but was a violent man who had been abusive to Arlene's mother, Grimelda Figueroa. Kalanick and Torsney insist that Cologne never mentioned Ariel Castro. The FBI pulled police The FBI pulled police and court records listing sex offenders, parolees, and people with outstanding arrest warrants who lived in Gina's and Amanda's neighborhoods. Courts are often so backlogged that police can't keep up with the warrants issued for everything from assaults to traffic violations, and Torsney started serving these outstanding warrants to get access to hundreds of homes to check for any signs of the missing girls. Sex offenders those convicted of possessing child pornography, forcible R, or other crime involving a sex act were a particular focus. Required by law to register their address, dozens were living in Amanda's 44111 zip code, and the FBI paid special attention to them because sex offenders often repeat their crimes and are frequently linked to missing children cases. When the kids at Wilbur Wright reported seeing a suspicious Hispanic man driving a white car, it immediately reminded police of Amanda's boyfriend, DJ Diaz. They had been keeping a close eye on DJ for the past year, but had never found any evidence linking him to Amanda's case.
On Saturday, 8 days after Gina's disappearance, police spotted him driving a stolen car, arrested him, and got a search warrant for his house. They found plenty of marijuana, but nothing to suggest that he was abducting girls. 3 weeks after Gina went missing, the FBI brought Arlene Castro in to be hypnotized. Arlene, distraught about her friend's disappearance, was eager to help police in any way she could. Investigators wanted to see if hypnosis could help her remember any detail, a car, person, anything that she hadn't already mentioned. Heffernan and Kalanick sat with Arlene's mother, Nilda Figueroa, during the session, which was conducted by a psychologist hired by the FBI. Arlene, who was 13, recounted events exactly as she had told police in her statement. There was nothing more. In early May 2004, Torsney stood on Lorraine Avenue near where Gina was taken and where Amanda had disappeared the year before, and wondered if a serial killer was at work on this stretch of road. He and Kalanick feared that a careful killer had taken the two girls, then dropped their bodies in some dumpster that had been carted off to a landfill. Both men knew that the odds were against Amanda still being alive a year after her disappearance, but it was possible, they kept telling themselves. They spent a lot of time with Gina and Amanda's families, and they badly wanted to solve their cases.
One May afternoon, Torsney stared up at the apartment windows overlooking Lorraine and had an idea. He climbed the stairs of one of the buildings on the street and knocked on a door. The man who answered was clearly drunk, but his apartment had a perfect panoramic view of Lorraine Avenue. Torsney proposed a deal. The FBI would set up video surveillance gear in the man's apartment for a few weeks, and they would pay him for his trouble. He happily agreed. FBI technicians positioned thousands of dollars worth of video cameras in the space, which recorded every person and car that passed on Lorraine. Agents pored over the hours of footage but didn't find anything useful. The surveillance continued for several weeks. Then, one day when an FBI agent came to put in a new set of blank tapes, he discovered that all the expensive gear was gone. The man who lived there said it had been stolen by burglars.
I think that's probably a pretty good place to
Stop.
Stop for today. But the things that strike me here, so it's kind of weird if you've hung around the true crime genre for a while on YouTube or any other social media, there always seems to be like one high profile missing person case that people always seem to think of that human being when they think of a missing person, and then think through that lens. You know what I mean? And I keep looking through the lens of Sebastian Rogers. Even there are so many other missing children in the world, but so I think about him, but I also think about all the other missing children in the world who could be going through this right now. I mean, every single day I click on a new video where we hear about some kid being rescued or some kid, uh, parent doing something to their kid. Like there's just so much of this going on in the world, and it's going on right under our feet. So I it's so interesting to me to get, this perspective from the actual, victims, and to hear what they're thinking about their families, and also to see the extensive investigative steps that are being taken by the police. They're really, really, and I have to believe, I have no reason to believe that all of those same very extensive investigative steps are happening in the Sebastian Rogers case and other missing kids cases, right? Um, that we just don't see. And then, people come onto social media and just um, speculate rampantly and create these, they create this atmosphere on YouTube where if I was the missing kid looking at YouTube, let's say, let's fast forward 20 years, and let's say it's an Ariel Castro person who has these kids locked up in a house and they're able to watch YouTube while he's gone to work, right? And they're seeing all the shit that's playing out on YouTube and the way people are acting.
Oh, it would be horrifying.
What I would, if I was one of those kids and if I was Sebastian, I would be fucking pissed, man. I would be so pissed and ashamed. I mean, of course I would still be glad to see my friends and family and that they're worried about me, but to see their behavior on, online, and to see how much folk, how they get so, I would be sitting here going, wait a minute, what does that thing that, for example, At Night Investigation just tweeted, what the fuck does that have to do with finding me?
Right.
What?
Right.
I don't know if you've paid any attention to that, but this fucking anti-intelligence agency is posted like 4 or 5 different communications last night, trying to connect personal issues with Sebastian's case, saying we are being targeted and harassed, and this is interfering with Sebastian case, when actually what they're trying to do is ask the public to dox people on the internet for them, which will have absolutely no bearing on finding Sebastian. It's so infuriating. And so if I was Sebastian watching all this go down, I would be so fucking pissed off and sad and betrayed and angry and like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Right. I mean, it's a horrible circus of, and social media allows for all that to happen. I think about, was it Gina or Amanda who was seeing her parents or her mother on TV? Yeah. How incredibly, how many mixed emotions would you have, seeing your heartbroken, parents, trying to find you and not being able to, and there you are sitting saying, what, I can't even imagine what goes on, but in your head and in your heart, it's like, I'm here, please find me. I'm here. I'm right here. And not being able to, I mean, just I guess it would be great to be able to see that people are looking for you, but so many mixed emotions, but at the same time, just heartbroken that you have to stay in that horrible place with that horrible man and all of the horrible things that are happening to you, and you can't do anything about it.
And that particular kidnapper is taunting you.
Oh,
being a completely sadistic freak.
Like,
oh yeah, I'll send your family this little letter. No, I'm not going to send your family because you've been a bad girl. He never intended to send that letter.
Yeah, you stuck the pencil in the lock, and so sorry, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, just another excuse. I mean, what a coward. And if anybody's listening and doesn't know this, the man who kidnapped these girls, he ended up unaliving himself like a month into his jail time. So they didn't even, like a month after he was arrested or something like that, they didn't really even get to see justice. I mean, or no, actually it was a month after he was convicted, if I recall correctly. I'm sorry, I'm not remember the exact details if it was after he was arrested or if after he was convicted, but literally a month.
Right.
It was like a very, very short period of time, and he unalived himself, and they just didn't get to see real justice, you know. I don't think it went to trial. So
I don't think it did either.
wow. Anyway, so I think this is, so far it's a really well put together book, though.
So good. I mean, you're right. The way that they woven in not only the personal sort of reflections from the girls, but also how they are talking about all of the extensive investigations and the search that they're doing. The guy who started going after all of these little
Horsey, this
yeah, and so he could get access to people who they may not know because they've they've committed some sort of small crime. Who knows that kind of stuff, right? I mean, that's really amazing that they were spending so much time. And then how heartbreaking that at the end of this chapter that the surveillance equipment disappeared.
Right.
Surprisingly disappeared.
It seems like always at the key moments, that camera was broken.
Right.
Oh, darn, that camera was broken.
Yeah.
Or those, a lot of times it seems like, when cities and municipalities are just not well funded, they will allow those cameras just to be deterrents when they're not working. They'll be like, oh, well, it's just there as a deterrent, but it's not working. It's just there to seem like there's a watchful eye, but it's not really there. I mean, and like,
it's all fake. Yeah.
What use is that, man?
Exactly, right. I know.
So what else have you been paying attention to?
Well, I wanted to say that, I watched your very well done, by the way, roundup of all of the cases. Oh my gosh, Lynn, I had forgotten about some of those, and I was I was watching and I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that one. And I love the way that you wrapped it up with was it Sarah Boone?
Yeah.
It was so
my
good.
God.
It was so good.
Like that video has not even gotten to 200 views.
What? I can't. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
I am so out of sync of like what YouTube viewers want to watch. I must be like on a different wavelength or something.
I've been on YouTube now for 4 years, and it's YouTube bad actors. Castro was found hanging from a bed sheet in his detention cell on the evening of September 3rd, 1 month into his life sentence. Okay, so he did get a life sentence, but gotcha. Okay, so thank you for clearing that up for me, YouTube bad actors. So what I've noticed in the true crime genre is that, and it's this way with a lot of genres too. I've been in the media field for a long time, but on YouTube, it's very particular that the algorithm wants you to focus on one topic. It doesn't want these compilations unless you're really, but I like doing compilations. I really do.
It's so funny that you say that, because there are, I follow a lot of YouTubers in very different genres, right? Like there's a couple of people I follow, like in the, the beauty and, health space. Mm-hmm. And they try to go off doing other things, like covering food or, life or something else, right? And they mention on their channels, YouTube doesn't like it when I do
No,
this.
they
So
don't. It
yeah,
doesn't.
so I'm asking you viewers, what would you like me to do? And they end up, not surprisingly, starting additional channels to cover the other subjects because YouTube
Right.
wants you to focus on a singular subject, right?
It wants you to fit in a certain category, and
Right.
it wants. So it was like this when I worked at Apple, and I would work on cover stories with the media. That it was always about Steve Jobs getting the
Right.
cover story, and we would try to say, well, how about, because we always wanted more than just Steve Jobs to get attention. So,
Right.
hey, we got Steve Jobs and blah blah and blah blah and blah, and they're like, no,
Nope, 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 nope.
one person on the cover.
Right.
We'll interview those other people, maybe we'll put them in pictures inside, but on the cover it's one person, one
Right.
guy.
Right.
And that's and the algorithm is generally
That's how it's built.
yes, it generally that way, where it wants you to it wants you to focus on one topic, and if you stray from that topic, it's not going to give you any love whatsoever. It's just not. And it's okay. I mean, sometimes I'll still do videos that I just like doing because I like doing them, and that was a fun video to make, in all honesty. But you also have to like weigh the time you put into a video
Right.
is what you're gonna, and also, do people want, if people don't want to click on it, but they're not getting served the video is the thing. They're
That's right.
not as many people are getting served the video because it's not a one topic thing. It's me saying, hey, here's all the guilty verdicts from, this year. It's too much to handle, for too much
Right.
for them to handle for, a compilation, but it's okay. It's fine. Um,
Yeah. So, there's not a whole lot going on right now in terms of like other cases, at least that are like current. So, I don't know if you watch Gisela over at Grizzly True Crime. She's
yeah,
covering,
I
yeah,
but I don't watch every single video, but I
yeah,
out. Yeah.
yeah. She's covering. Oh, what's the guy's name?
Chandler Halderson.
Yes,
I covered
Halderson.
that case at the time. Oh my God.
Yes, yeah.
That
So she's going back and going over that trial, and I didn't watch all of it, so I'm just have it on sort of in the background now. But oh my gosh,
yeah.
what, I
That's
was telling one of my sons about this guy today, and I said, yeah, he was lying to his parents
yep.
about not going to college, about having all these great jobs lined up, and this, that, and the other,
A
and
job at
meanwhile.
SpaceX. A
Right,
job
at
at
SpaceX, right,
SpaceX.
and he was moving to Florida, and,
Yeah.
none of it was true. He even lied to the girlfriend about it, right? And
Yep.
so, and, and then the day that his dad kind of found out, because I guess he was meeting with one of the college advisors or something, and found out that the kid wasn't even registered, was the
Yep.
day that, he decides to kill his parents, and just because he didn't want everything to surface, and just kills his parents, goes on with his life like nothing happened.
Well, and he tries to. Thank you for letting me know, you two bad actors, that you got notified. I appreciate that. Then he tries to burn them in the fireplace.
The heads,
Yeah,
the
he
heads in
tries
the
to burn it.
fireplace. Oh my gosh.
That's right, you two bad actors. His parents were like, they it would have been fine. They would have gotten past it, but
He
he's
was
like,
so afraid.
I
Yeah.
can't let my parents and the world know that I didn't get this job at SpaceX and I'm not still in school, so I'm gonna have to kill him and try to burn their heads in the fireplace. And he couldn't get it done, so then he starts scattering their remains all over the fucking area. And there's the one part where he goes to go swimming at it was what, his girlfriend's mom's
Then
house.
yes.
And his girlfriend's mom is with another woman, and they have this really nice house with a pool in the backyard, and he asked to come back on his own the day after, like, totally, he like invites himself to come, and then he comes and he swims, and then he guy like disappears for a bit, and
Right.
then they see him coming out of the bushes.
Right. They see his car like with the door open or the
Yes.
trunk open or something, and the mom's wondering like what's he doing out there? And
Girlfriend's mom almost got killed because of that. I don't remember that part.
oh my goodness.
Because she turned him, because she confronted him. I don't remember that part.
I don't
But I
remember
remember
either.
that he got right back in the pool. Like I feel like he like came right out of the bushes, and then dipped back into the pool.
Like nothing happened.
And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was when the mom and the girlfriend were skinny dipping in the pool and he got in with them.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, she went looking for him. Okay. There's some details sometimes I don't remember. My mind that's why I do more analysis than like trying to figure out times and dates and timelines, because my memory is not a great one. But
Neither is mine.
yeah. But I do remember that case, and I noticed that Grizzly was
Yeah.
doing that, because and I took note of that, because I was like, oh wow, so she's doing an old case, and she's got a lot in chat. Now I know she's
Yeah.
always got a lot in chat. She has a great
Yeah.
channel, but I've also been thinking about going through old cases,
Yeah.
like
Right.
old, meaning like streaming old trials or streaming parts of old trials, because but that's another thing. I don't know if my channel, like I might have now trained my channel into only liking videos. You know what I mean? But I like court so much, and I like analyzing, cross-examination and testimony so much. I've thought about like rebroadcasting parts of like the Adelson case before Donald Adelson, before Donna Adelson goes on trial next year. I've thought about streaming parts of her trial ahead of that, and then also Lori Vallow's going on trial next year, and thinking about streaming parts of her trial. So I
I think it's a really good idea, just from my personal viewpoint, because you the thing that you bring to it, Lynn, is that you have you talk about your analytical skills, and that's one thing that you do bring to this that I'm not seeing so much. I mean, there's the discussion from other creators about like what's happening, and the sort of the feedback reaction kind of thing, but you bring sort of a different take to all of it. So I kind of think it would be a good thing if you did either the old ones and also decided to stream the new ones or whatever. But
I definitely want to stream the new ones that are
yeah, I
coming.
think you
But
should.
I also like looking at old ones. And
Yeah.
Anna, thank you for that suggestion. Should Business would be a good one, because
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
actually
my gosh.
that entire trial, but I know it was a crazy one. I know it was crazy, crazy, crazy. I watched the end of
Oh,
that trial, but
oh
yeah,
my gosh. Just watching her like come into the courtroom and having that wild attack on the
yes,
officer in the courtroom, and him having to try and pin her down, and
yeah.
it feels like you're watching a caged animal. I mean, that was just freaky. She's a freaky person, that one. Yeah, that would be a good one. That would be a good one.
Maybe I'll start doing, and maybe after we finish this book, I'll start doing that on weekends. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do like, um, book club and recovering
Yeah,
and
yeah,
trials and my videos. And I love doing my
yeah.
videos too. So, but we'll see. I love court so much. I just do. So
I
I
know.
want to cover court on here. I'm like, come on, you guys, get into court
It's
with me.
addicting. Yeah, it's really addicting. And then you start to learn like all the terminology, and your way, you can like predict what the prosecutor's going to go after. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
it's so interesting.
I mean, I've been hanging around lawyers. I was married to a lawyer for many years. I've been hanging around lawyers. I've been involved in lawsuits, but it wasn't until streaming trials that, yeah, interrogations are good too, Anna. Sometimes Sometimes those are
Oh,
even better.
yeah.
But it wasn't really until I started streaming trials that I really, really understood the courtroom process and
Mhm.
all the hello, grateful middle-aged cat mama. I love your name. Yeah.
That's a mouthful, but it is great.
For those of you who don't know, I had another channel called Disorder in the Court where I was streaming trials, but I'm pretty sure it got suppressed by this platform. So that's why I started this channel, and there's various reasons why the other channel got suppressed. I wasn't being naughty. I'm not a terrible person. Yeah, Disorder in the Court. Yeah, I like that name too. But and it's still there. It's still there. You can go watch all my coverage on Disorder in the Court. It's all still there. My channel didn't get taken away. It got suppressed for various reasons that I won't go into here. But I
That's a
was
topic for another day.
I'm not a nasty person. I didn't break community guidelines. I think I just hurt some people's feelings that run the platform. So anyway, bottom line is I do want to start more coverage here, court coverage here, but I have to, always weigh, is it worth putting in the time? Because it does take a huge amount of time to cover court. It just does. It takes a huge amount of time. And the videos take time too. So anyway, well, do you have any fun plans for New Year's Eve?
It's so funny because I don't know when this started happening, but years ago, I stopped looking for. I just decided, I'm really happy to be at home on New
Yeah.
Year's Eve. I don't like going out with the crazies on the road and, all of that. And, I'm in bed usually by 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
So staying up, with a bunch of drunk people past midnight is, not so much fun for me. I sound like an old fogey, but I'm
No,
not. I just
that becomes a thing once you're gotten to a certain age. You have kids. That's for the kids.
It is. Yeah, I got invited to a get together just yesterday. And, I thought about it for a second. I thought, oh, that would be kind of fun, and get all dressed up and go. And I'm like, you don't really want to go. You don't. Just be honest. Just say thank you very much, but no thanks. And I hope you have a great time. And that's what I did. And I felt really good about that. So no, I don't have anything going. How about you?
Same. Did you hear me accidentally snort?
That's great.
No, the highlight of my New Year's Eve will probably be FaceTiming with my boys.
Oh yeah.
The highlight of my day, and then I'll be like, okay,
okay, yeah,
I'm good now. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm the same. I'm a total homebody, and
Me
I'm
too.
Very happy with it. So
me too. Yeah. I barely go out to the grocery store anymore. And when I do have to go, and I have to travel for my job now a little bit, and I resist it. I think about it. I ruminate over it. I'm just like, oh my God, this is why do I have to go? And when I finally do go, it's okay, but I can't wait to get home. It's that kind of thing. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm happy at home is all I have to say.
No, you are not nuts. So I've been possessive that people don't mention your other channels for fear of shadow banning. I was going to email you because I just want to see your videos grow the way they deserve. And am I? You're not nuts, of course.
We do too. Yes.
This is the first time I've actually said the name of my other channel on this channel. I have not literally placed a link from any of my channels to this channel because that's how they get connected in the background. I don't think they'll recognize that I've said that channel, this channel. So I do very much appreciate that, grateful middle-aged cat mama. I really do appreciate that, because I don't want for those of you who don't know, I used to work at Google, and I was in a Netflix documentary series that really put them on their back feet. Yes, you can keep being possessive. It's totally fine. You are not nuts. You aren't. I'm the one who set that precedent. Hey, I'm not linking the channel. So I really appreciate that. I really do. But so far I've been able to ascertain that this channel is not being suppressed. So I feel a little bit more comfortable saying tiny little things at the end of a stream, but I'm not going to link them. I'm not going to actually link them. So, and also, even if it's not like I'm doing a bad thing. If they found out, hey, all these channels come from the same person, they would see that on this channel, I'm not doing the things that made them mad on those channels.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's that I was being really critical of them on those channels as a former employee. That's basically what was happening. And it's so very, very easy for them to go boop. No more for her. No more for her. So
yeah.
It's fine. Even if they didn't do that, it's fine. I'm fine just having this clean true crime channel where I'm starting fresh. I really am totally fine with it. I'm not trying to get world famous here. I'm not trying to blow up. I just enjoy creating. I'm a creative person who enjoys talking about true crime and analyzing it and producing videos about it. That's the only reason I'm doing it. So anyway,
and you do it well. And whatever I can do to help, you just let me know.
Well, thank you. I very much appreciate everybody being here. Please remember to hit the thumbs up, and please have a fantastic New Year. Happy New Year, everybody.
New Year.
And
Yes.
Thank you everybody for your support and engaging with my channel. And I will see you very, very soon in 2025 for sure. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.